What's up, Blueprint family? Thank you all for joining us tonight. Monday night, new week. Thank y'all. Thank y'all for joining us. As the room fill up, as usual with Instagram viewers, we really appreciate you all for joining us.
Yeah, and YouTube and
And Facebook.
Facebook.
Yep, I didn't forget them this time.
Turn this music down so they can hear you better.
Yep.
Today is Monday, right?
Yep, Monday. That's what I said.
Yeah, it is. I had
Brand
to
new
sit
week.
back and think. Busy weekend makes you think it's we just keep on going.
Right, yeah. We had this weekend felt short. Felt real short.
Yeah,
But
that is for sure.
but
Do you want to check our mics on YouTube this time? Because last Friday, we apologize. Our mic sounded a little weird. I think one of our cords was
loose.
loose.
Had a loose
Yeah.
cord.
So it sounded a little weird. Next time, guys, if y'all happen to hear we don't sound our best, let us know so we can certainly fix that up because we want to provide a great experience for you all as well. So thank you for tuning in. Tonight's going to be a great show. We just want to pull this up though just to verify.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Cool. Yay.
Yep, and we've been getting some great feedback. We appreciate everybody who's been watching, and people who've been saying that our show is making a difference in their lives, and we really appreciate that. That's what the purpose of this show is. We don't do this for ourselves.
Although we do learn some cool things or refresher things.
Thank you for the hearts.
Yeah.
we appreciate the hearts every time. Thank you all.
Yeah, just y'all showing up and everything. That is a huge thing.
Somebody threw some hearts up there. Yeah, that's
is a
love.
huge
We
thing,
love y'all too. And like I said, this is our service to the community, to you all. This is you all's platform, and as always, this is a live show, so you can call in. You can video chat with us if you have any comments, concerns, questions. By all means, please type it in the chat box. If you want to remain anonymous and ask questions or provide a topic for tomorrow's show, you can also go to the www.wifeconomics.com/submit a question, and we will be more than glad to cover that for you. So tonight's topic, if we shall go into the topic, what is love bombing and how to deal with it?
Yeah,
I think this is something new, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was gonna say this is a new one because we haven't talked about it. Yeah, we've never really, and I always like different avenues of looking at relationships because relationships are multifaceted, right? So it's so much that they can come with and what you can get in. So this one though was actually inspired by a Reddit question that we saw. And it got like a pretty good buzz, but no one really kind of got too much in detail about it. So it's like, hey, let's tackle this ourselves. So we're just gonna grab the question. I like responding to the question, not so much the other comments. So we can really give you guys some great feedback and advice from this. But it said, I, 40 male, went on a date with 41 female. Is this love bombing? I went on a date with a woman last weekend and the date was pleasant and we kissed, but that was it. However, the past week since the date, she has been texting me nonstop, calling me cutie, handsome, and all these nice and kind compliments. I worry that I have become frozen inside because this feels overwhelming to me. I want to enjoy it, but something feels off to me. We had one date and this feels like it is love bombing. I think this is a red flag, but I'm unsure. Perhaps it's me who is wrong and this is a normal part of dating. So that is our overall question. That's, the general question that we're going to use and go by because it's very valid and it actually hits on two things that I want us to talk about. But when you go into it too, oh shoot, it went down. When you dissect it too, but the two parts. One, he's saying he feels frozen inside, and then the love bombing. But let's hear what you have to say.
Well, first of all, I think that one, it seems as if he hasn't been dating in a long time. So I think that's part of the issue is that he can't decipher how people date or what normal dating etiquette is like today. And he's just not used to it.
Yeah.
So I think that's all it really is. As far as love bombing, I'm still learning about what that is. So let's go. If you don't mind, what do you got to say to this guy as far as his concerns are.
Well, yeah, that is one cool thing about what we do anyway, too, because we get to learn a little bit too, dig a little deeper, research a little deeper into what some things mean. And I actually understand this topic a little bit more just coming from a traumatic childhood in a way. So actually experiencing some of this, certainly, that's why I think a lot of the terms get thrown around so loosely without really like breaking it down and saying like what this actually looks like in a relationship and what it's really not, because sometimes it's not love bombing. It's could be a couple things that we're going to go over, like desperation. Sometimes it can be just that and some of the reasons, but how it's very similar. Or, it could be love bombing, or it could be genuine attraction, and possibly you have something inside that you may be fearful of that's actually making you look at something in a different way. So this is quite a multifaceted question. That's why it kind of stood out to me. And I was like, oh, wow. And then nobody kind of really like addressed it like that. But in particular, the part of feeling like frozen inside. What do you think he's kind of meaning about that? I kind of took it at like the icebox heart type thing.
I mean, no, I understand that. As far as a man, and he's 40 some years old, so he's pretty much stuck in his ways per se. And I can tell that he's a mature man because none of that emotional stuff that she's throwing at him moves him.
Yeah.
So that's what he's saying. He's not really empathetic to all of the, hey, sweetie, good morning, sweetheart, honey, and all this stuff. He's like, yeah, been through all of that. What's next?
Yeah.
So he's in that state. So he's want to know more about her. And I think that's what he needs to do. He needs to ask more questions geared towards relationship with her.
Yeah.
So that she and him get a better understanding about their vision as far as where they're going.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long he's been dating this woman, but that's what he's talking about, the frozen part. Like, I'm not impressed by all of this, this love jargon that she's trying to give me.
Yeah.
And all the, the kissy faces and emojis and all that stuff. So that's what he's saying. He's not really impressed by that. And that's just his personality. So, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just who he is. And evidently, the lack of him dating and him getting into it again is really something that's a transition for him.
Yeah.
So he just has to get used to that. I don't know what his past was like or past situations. He may be scarred from that, in which he takes, these type of subtle emotional cues. He doesn't take those. I guess he doesn't take them personally. So that's the reason why he's acting very frozen about all of this.
Yeah.
So it doesn't excite him. So he's very mature, I think, and he probably knows what he wants, and he needs to express that as far as what he's looking for in a relationship. And I think that will probably excite him more if she's down with his cause and wants to continue the relationship with him. I think that's what he's really looking for.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, especially because he's 40. Well, he's 40 and the woman is 41. So in particular, I think, like you said, he's probably comfortable being single. Right. And so that's often when people say it's either one or two things, kind of just to dig a little deeper into what you're saying, is one or two things. Like, one, if a person is comfortable being single, sometimes they're not emotionally available because, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but they're so focused on other things, like maybe their career or like their hobbies or like self-help. It's a whole bunch of different reasons why a person would be like that. In particular, though, I think if you aren't actively looking for a relationship, it's important, like you said, to communicate that, like, hey, I'm not actively looking for that, so I want to keep it very surface level. So then it's fair to both, people in the whole relationship, because in one way, if that is the case, to where he's like, not so much actively looking for a relationship, or maybe like not looking for something too serious right away, she could not understand that, and then be really, especially trying to lay it on thick if she really likes him, and then that can really be a turnoff. So that, just to avoid any confusion for that, I think about that. But then also too, the flip side of, if you, have some type of trauma, like you talked about, or even like substance abuse, sometimes any major like hurt, abuse, or pain or anything from a traumatic experience, then you can feel emotional detachment or numbness. And usually that's why people like use alcohol or like drugs. That's a big sign of that. I'm not saying that this is, what he's doing, but I'm just saying the other side of why somebody may feel cold is if they're actually detached from their emotions. And that's when it's a little more serious. That's when you really probably should like get some help or talk to someone so that you're able to understand how to connect with people on a deeper level, especially if it's like PTSD connected to it or something of that matter, to where you're really impacted. And then in that case, it's kind of like, it'll be hard for you to experience that love, that joy, that emotion with other people because you're so used to suppressing your emotions or, because of that. So if that is another, side of anybody, watching or coming across this, if that is another reason why you may feel cold in the inside, please really take the time to, think about that and put words to your emotions. Don't just say I'm feeling cold. I like to tell people to, especially within our Wife Economics course, the women said that's a whole thing we do on the weekend. And I think this is not a bad thing for men to do as well, but to actively put words to how you're feeling. So if you don't just say I'm feeling cold, maybe you're feeling anxious, maybe you're feeling frustrated, maybe you're feeling angry, maybe you're feeling sad, like when you actually are able to verbalize and put a word to that emotion, then you're better able to process it and go about it in a healthier way versus kind of just like pushing it to the side, and not actually seeing what's the reason behind why you're actually feeling this way. So yeah, I think that's important, at least to address, because I don't like to just brush by like, oh, when somebody's saying, oh, am I just feeling cold? Like that's a multifaceted thing, and it'll play a part to that as well. But let's head into the main topic for tonight, of course, love bombing.
Yep. So love bombing is manipulative tactic. It's a tactic used by abusers to gain control over their victims. And it involves showering the victim with attention, affection, and gifts in order to create a sense of intense emotional attachment. This attachment can make it difficult for the victim to leave the relationship, even when the abuser becomes abusive.
Yeah. So that's different. Like, that's why you can't just like throw, love bombing. Like, oh, somebody's love bombing me, because it's a genuine difference. Like, love bombing is manipulative. Like, you're actually trying to actually trying to get that person to like attach to you faster and less likely to leave from you, because they'll attach some like validation to you, or like overall, like they'll in the long run they may feel like they can't leave you because you'll make the love bomber will make it seem like it's their fault, like something is wrong with them. So naturally, if a person is feeling this way, they may want to go back and be like, oh, like, what's going on? And like you pointed out, he's not doing that. It's not phasing him, So in a way, that's, if she is love bombing him, it's not working, which is a great thing, to recognize in the long run. But it's important to really understand the difference between love bombing and actual genuine attraction.
Yeah, I don't think that's love bombing at all. Now that I understand what that is. And she's just trying to get him to open up to enjoy the relationship.
Yeah.
She wants to make him more familiar with her.
Yeah. And I think about the fact that she's 40, or 41. So this is where being really eager or desperate could kind of come in, where it's not so much she's trying to like love bomb you, but she's just like, I really want a relationship. Like, and I'm 41. Like, we got to get this. Like, you like me, I like you. Come on, let's do this. And, it could be too much though for him too. But, it's important to not just throw around, again, the love bombing. That's why we want to clarify what this actually is and the difference between that and if you're actually desperate. But let's just head on to those key 7 differences. You wanted to do that, of like actual love bombing and genuine affection?
Sure.
Okay. Here you go.
So love bombing is often very intense and sudden, while genuine attraction develops more gradually. Love bombers will often shower the victims with attention, affection, and gifts, and very early in the relationship. So in order to create a sense of intense emotional attachment. Genuine attraction, on the other hand, develops more slowly over time as you get to know someone and learn more about them. So I guess that's what he wants. He wants to genuinely be attached to her.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see the place of desperation, especially for her being in her 40s, 41. And more than like, I question maybe he's been in an abusive relationship in the past. And I think that's the reason why he's probably hesitant with her. And that may be the reason why that he is holding back his emotions in this relationship. And that's probably the reason why.
Or even throwing across the word love bombing. Because
Right.
usually, I understand it again, like I said, because I have experiencing it in a different format, a family format. But, actually knowing what that is because of that is the reason why. So yeah, that's a very valid point.
This is tied like to narcissism or something?
It could be. Yeah, usually. Yeah, certainly. But again, I don't want to label like people, but it's a wide range of people that do. It's really just if you want to manipulate, like if you have an ulterior motive for why you're trying to get with that person. And like, because of that, everybody know you like stuff, like, like people know that. So they'll use that. Go ahead.
This will remind me of like those bad celebrities and that Me Too movement type thing.
Like,
I don't want to name names, but I mean, they have favor, so they got something that people want. And access is they want access to fame and fortune.
They'll be like, I give you this car when you turn 16.
Well, I mean, not only that. I mean,
that's like love bombing, though. That is a clear tactic of like trying to lure you in with some stuff.
You're just trying to manipulate somebody with stuff.
Yeah, and that's true. Like another aspect, love bombers do those grand gestures of affection, like, so it could just seem like something really over the top and maybe too soon, because if it's that genuine attraction, sometimes it's a little slower, sometimes it's not as it's a little more subtle ways of like that a person likes you. They don't have to do the grandiose things because you can just feel it in like day-to-day things, or simple interactions. But love bombers in general, they'll do things like spend for expensive gifts or like lavish dates, or like just profess their love to you very fast, very publicly, so like that in a way, just to kind of, in a manipulation aspect, it'll be kind of like to put you on the spot. Go ahead.
If I may interject, it reminds me of that last letter that we did of the lady going with the guy, and he didn't profess his love to her, but he takes her on trips, vacations, things like that. And then she doesn't know where they are in the relationship. So that's his way too of love bombing her, because he takes her on vacations. He doesn't tell her he loves her, and then he has access to her, and that is all that he really wants, without saying that he wants a relationship.
Yes. Yeah, I totally agree. That is definitely one way that can look, especially if in the long run, all you're trying to do is like get that, the hanky pankies, like,
This is, if you don't mind, this is hard for people to recognize very early in the relationship, especially for those females who are very desperate and wanting relationships.
Yeah.
And
you're just getting played, per se. You
right.
know? But the same thing for men too, because even in this sense, like this guy, like, he likes this woman, but he's kind of skeptical, But again, that's why we're actually breaking this down and going to give you examples of what this, looks like with genuine affection versus that, love bombing.
Because he want to make sure he doesn't have a Marjorie, what's her name?
The Harvey.
Harvey, yeah.
Oh gosh.
Somebody who you thought is down for you and really not after all those years.
We're gonna have to talk about that. I think that's
no, we don't.
That's a worthy show, though. That. Somehow,
everybody's talking about that.
I know everybody is. It's very trendy.
I'm pretty sure we kind of touched on stuff like that in the past on all of the shows. You just dealing with people. You just don't really know who you have until you all are tried and tested.
Yeah, in the trenches.
Yeah, I mean, let's just sum it up. I mean, I guess pretty much if you are often traveling a lot, a wandering heart, what is it? Grows fonder. I forgot what that that saying is.
Who knows? I know somebody now. Let us know if
I'm trying to think what I'm saying, because we used to say it all the time.
Absent heart. Or no, is it absent? No. I don't know.
I forgot.
It's late at night. I know. It's a long day. Yeah. Well,
absence make a heart grows fonder. That's what it is. Absence make a heart.
Well, that's the other side. Yeah. And then the opposite one is when you're too far. Like, I know what you're talking about. It's like two sides of it. One, it could make you grow fonder in the sense of together, or fond or apart. It helps you grow fonder or apart or something like that. I can't remember.
Or absence make a heart go wander. No, that
could be. That's a good.
For real, because if that person ain't there, I mean, but look at you hear military wives. I don't mean no harm, but like the classic case. I know a guy who, was in Iraq, and then he proposed, and then came back and found out, his fiance was sleeping with his friends.
Yeah.
So I mean, that happens. I mean, when somebody gets lonely, you hear it all the time. I mean, it happens. It just happens. When somebody
shouldn't though. I think that's irresponsible when you're married.
Yeah, it's immature. Yeah, it's very immature. But
if you need to go hop on that flight or something. You need.
But here's the thing, though: a lot of people don't know what they get into until they actually in it.
Yeah,
and then they can't stick it out. They can't stick it out.
Minus military, because military is tough. That's why they have like the highest divorce rates. Because that's very, very. You got a lot of elements going. It makes it hard. So. Hearts out to all the military families, much love to that, and hopefully you all can weather those storms, because it can be done. I have seen it done,
Oh yeah, of course.
But it's just, and I always like to. That's why I guess we don't focus too much on those celebrity stuff like that, because as much as that stuff is like highlighted, and that one in particular should be, because of the role Steve Harvey has played in like woman and men interactions and stuff, like that's huge. But in general, like I like to highlight the good parts of it too, because it's not all like that. Not all women or wives are like that, and it's unfortunate. You make us look bad, but whatever. Anyways,
I mean, but that's Hollywood though.
Yeah,
that's a Hollywood divorce. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not saying they have a divorce. They're supposed to iron things out, but hopefully they have though. Yeah, but anyway, love bombers often isolate you from your friends and family, while people who are genuinely attracted to you will encourage you to maintain strong relationships with your loved ones.
Yeah.
So love bombers may try to convince you that your friends and family don't understand you, don't care about you as much as they do. They're manipulating you. So they may also try to make you feel like you don't need anyone else but them. People who are genuinely attracted to you, on the other hand, will encourage you to maintain strong relationships with your loved ones, because they know that they are important to you.
Yeah.
Especially the ones that are not hurting you.
Yeah.
There's a difference between being a protector and genuinely want to protect you from bad people. Sometimes those bad people may be your friends and family members.
Yeah.
But in this case, what we're talking about, these type of manipulators trying to, like I said earlier, isolate you, keep you in that box, keep you away from people who can see the harm that they're causing, and don't want you to hear that message coming from loved ones.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's distinct with love bombing in particular, because they don't want you to tell anyone about that interaction for someone to say that, you know? But genuine attraction isn't like that. Genuine attraction, it'll show through their feelings for sure, and their words and their actions, what their thoughts, if they're kind, if they're supportive, that's genuine attraction. On the other hand, like you said, those love bombers will certainly isolate you, and that's not good for sure. They will also kind of make you feel like, along with the isolation thing, the whole idea of they're the only one that can love you in the way you need to be loved. And that's, right. And that can be like a bit much, especially if, you're not so much attracted to that person, or whatever the case may be, if that is the case with,
I want to say this. I feel like we're describing R. Kelly the whole time.
Why? Oh, what you mean? Like what? Like how a clear example of somebody that would love bomb somebody?
Right. Yeah. All of this. I just wanted to say that, because from the beginning, once I found out what this word meant, that's the picture that came up.
And well, I mean, yeah.
He's the ultimate love bomber.
Yeah.
So
they look.
I just had to say that. That was on my mind the whole time after I figured this out.
Yeah, the manipulation. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, you can see it. It's a lot of clear examples where
master
you'll see it.
manipulator.
Yeah, especially within the celebrity limelight, because you'll see it out there, and their eye. Because people that are genuinely attracted to you, they will make you, feel special, but not like you're the only one like that, or they're the only one that can do that, or should do that, or want to do that. Like they'll be supportive of, someone else showing you love too. They wouldn't be like, oh, like they hate him, you know what I'm saying? Like it'll be more of a love type thing, a connection. They'll be genuinely attracted to you and genuinely want to, just show you that you're special, not manipulate it with like other stuff or other outside influences in a way.
Yep. And love bombers often threaten to hurt themselves or others if you leave them. So while people who are genuinely attracted to you will respect your right to end the relationship, love bombers may threaten to hurt themselves and hurt other people as well if they leave. So this is a form of emotional blackmail that is designed to keep you in the relationship. So people
Yeah.
who are genuinely attracted to you, on the other hand, will respect your right to end the relationship and will try not to manipulate you into staying. So that saying of if you love somebody, you should love them enough to let them go.
And if they come back, then it's yours forever.
Right.
But in particular with this, I think this guy will find out for sure if he's being loved bomb, if he breaks it off and it's like, oh, I'm not so much interested in you no more. And then she hits you with the
Yeah, but
the dramatics. If the dramatics come on, then yeah, she might have been trying to,
right.
love bomb you. That's a clear indication in this, in this light, what it would look like.
But I think that he should. I mean, he should give her a chance. I mean, I think that's something that's going on with him and not wanting to open up, be open. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think they're dating very early in the
Yeah. It was
relationship,
only one
so
date.
it's
Yeah.
only a while. Yeah, one date, one kiss. So, he just, if he likes her, then he should continue on and see what it can transpire to be, and ask those good questions, ask those
Yes.
hard questions now.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Right. Because again, like here we're breaking it down like this, and unless she's done other things that we're giving you on this list, and it's not love bombing, and you're safe to proceed and kind of let your guard down a bit, like we were saying in the beginning. Because yeah. Also, though, in particular, if you do decide to break it off, like someone who is genuinely attracted to you will be okay with you leaving, and just express that they would like to see you again. If you even tried that route, like you could really see whether or not, maybe circle back if you had some time to yourself and you find out that it actually was probably you more so. That door probably would be a little more open if that person was not trying to love bomb you, I guess. Maybe not if maybe even more if they're really a manipulator, but yeah, hopefully not.
All right. So love bombers often try to control every aspect of your life, while people who are genuinely attracted to you will encourage you to be your own person. Love bombers may try to control what you wear, who you talk to, where you go, and what you do. So don't get confused at what you wear part. So you don't want to embarrass each other by wearing something that's too revealing or whatever the case may be. So they may also try to isolate you from your friends and family. Of course, I said that before.
Yeah.
Um,
I will say though that maybe not on the first date. Like if somebody is like like criticizing you on your first date, I wouldn't recommend doing that. If a guy or a girl like comes to, like if it's your first date and you meet a girl and she's dressing a little bit inappropriate, yeah, let her know. Like let her know you don't respect that, but you don't have to tell her like, or not, just let her know that you're not interested in continuing this date with her looking that way or whatever, in a very assertive, calm manner, so that she would understand like, that's just not your cup of tea. But on a first date, you don't have to be like, telling her, oh, you can't wear this, you can't do that, because that ain't your girl, or vice versa. Like if the guy, he comes out and you don't like the way he's dressing or whatever, like certainly don't try to that soon. I wouldn't try to control it. But if the woman or guy who you're interested in, that's where you establish boundaries, because this is where it's been presented in a way, like if they present to you in a way that you don't think is acceptable, then surely establish that boundary early, especially if they like you. And if they do like you and you like them, then it's able to continue on through. But in particular, you don't want someone who's going to try to control every aspect of your life before you have even, established what you're doing, because genuinely someone who's genuinely attracted to you and like you for a person, and what you're hoping is that, you two mesh already, because then that way, you'll encourage them to be themselves still, and not tell them like, hopefully whoever you're matched with is someone you like the way they dress. So you'll encourage them more to be the way they are, versus not. I think in particular, if you are wanting so much to have your independence or whatever, then you really should evaluate in general of whether or not you want to be in a relationship too. So, that's one aspect certainly to consider when it comes to all that dressing that you got brought on that. I think of that.
Independence. I mean, yeah. So why you trying to date if you're trying to be too independent?
Right.
Yeah. I mean, but like you said, yeah, especially if what they wear. A lot of times women may wear something, the eye catching. Yeah. Of course. I mean, it's the first date.
Right.
They're trying to, they're trying to be the bait. They're trying to get the fish.
Right. So you can just tell them scale it back a bit. If it's something you don't like, per se. Some people, don't even care about that.
I don't know many guys that would say that on the first date.
What do you think? What would a guy say usually? I've never had that issue, so I don't know. Really?
That's a beautiful dress you're wearing, or
even if it's like super provocative,
if she's fitting it, and she got it to wear.
Is that sketchy though? Like, I'm not sketchy. Is that like kind of unstable if you don't actually want your woman to dress like that? Because that means you're condoning something that you actually don't like.
I don't know what she's wearing then. I'm just looking at I'm thinking of like a nice sundress. I'm not talking about something that's transparent and see-through like what Keke Palmer had on. Now you see that and you'd be like, whoa, like, wow, why are you wearing that? You're thinking that, you're going to have a good night as a guy. That's the approach.
But is that the right approach?
No, not at all. Not for the first date. Goodness gracious. I mean, that's a bit too much. I mean, a lot of guys would, like that. But I mean, to be honest with you, those relationships may not go that far, especially with a woman that's wearing something so revealing on the first night like that. That may be a guy's, he might want to, that ain't gonna last too long. Trust me, it ain't. It ain't gonna last too long because she got to have a level of respect for herself. And if she's just out there half naked, it ain't gonna work out. Trust me. Because then you're going to want her to stop and she'll be like, nah, you met me like this.
Right. And that's what I'm saying. You shouldn't condone that. That would be where, if it's something you would like to change, then like address that earlier. The earlier, the better in particular. Not saying to cancel the woman. I think you shouldn't personally cancel the whole relationship or the opportunity.
She probably don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? So,
right. Yeah.
She probably thinks she's trying to please you and then,
or that it's just acceptable because we all see that, how acceptable it is to be so naked in public. So, I mean, but
do we?
Look at what a lot of people wear. Yes. Like, it seems like it is like now more than ever, the things that are acceptable. Like, I didn't grow up like that. I see and stuff like that. So it's like, it's different. It's, it's different times.
I mean, like growing up, going to the clubs and stuff. Yeah. I've seen it. Yeah. Women half naked in the club and stuff, like,
Yeah, not in the street though. Right. Like just going to the grocery store. Like,
oh no, yeah, that's ridiculous.
Right. So, anyways, that's like the whole aspect of if you can really tell if it's like genuine in the attraction aspect or love bombing, actually trying to control you, and it'll certainly be a little more aggressive per se. And it will leech off into all aspects of your life. So not only would they try to control what you're wearing, but what you're doing, where you're going, who you're talking to, all the other stuff. So that in particular is love bombing, those key aspects between genuine love bombing and actual, maybe even desperation per se. Mm-hmm. Because in particular, again, I really think that this may be for her. Like, she's lonely. She's been in a long time single, especially if she's 41, never married or whatever. She may be eager to, find someone to share life with. And that can actually kind of also be piggybacked with like low self-esteem. especially if she hasn't had anybody who actually, proposes or, wants to be with her, get with her, or anything like that. That can really be a clear indication of actual low self-esteem. So if this guy is interested in a girl or anybody, man or woman, and you see that the person is like kind of showering you with like compliments and stuff, that may also be a way for them to seek validation or just to get some love or feeling loved from you. And that's totally different than being loved bombed. It is still tied to trauma, but kind of like in a different way. A person is really looking for a relationship. They're really looking to be with someone. And that can also not be very attractive. We kind of had a show. I think we had a show on that, like how to date and not be desperate or something like that.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So that's kind of what this made me think about too.
Yeah. They may have been in a bad relationship in the past and are afraid of being alone again. They may be clingy and possessive in their new relationship in order to avoid being abandoned.
Yeah.
So that's what they may also do, love bombers.
No, this is actually when they're just being clingy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm sorry.
That was the last part, when they're just being, clingy, desperate, and not so much actually love bombing. But you know what? Truth be told, love bombing, what I have come to understand too through my own experience, is that a lot of times when somebody is trying to manipulate or abuse in that way, it's because they have experienced some trauma themselves as well. So they don't know how to actually handle a relationship in a healthy manner. Sometimes especially when it's tied to narcissism and stuff like that, they don't understand how to love outside of maybe just giving things or like, doing things like that just for that aspect. So that's certainly something to take in mind. And no way am I condoning being with a love bomber in the general sense of, if this is love bombing and it's actual abusive relationship. Certainly, if you've recognized any of the signs that we've talked about prior to this, be sure to actually take steps to possibly getting out of that relationship, especially if you aren't married. That wouldn't be the best situation to be in. But if you are in a serious relationship already, married with kids or whatever the case may be, or maybe you just have kids, consider getting a third party involved immediately. Counseling, therapy, maybe for yourself as well, especially if you're going through all of these things.
I would even advise to let someone review the text messages and conversations that you're having with this person if you can't discern whether or not this person is a love bomber, to be honest with you, because sometimes your views may be jaded because of the confusion of this person seeming to love you and overshowering you with gifts, and later on being very aggressive and abusive towards you. So often at times people can't discern whether or not this person means well for you, but ultimately an outside person who is of sound mind and of a healthy relationship can.
Yeah, certainly. Yep. And I always recommend your therapist or every third party be someone that's in a healthy relationship as well. So then that their point of view isn't jaded, because that matters as well. We always talk about that. But yeah, certainly if you think that maybe something is just off, I think for this guy in particular, just trust his gut. If he's not really attracted to this woman, or you're not feeling that natural progression, maybe have that conversation, or in particular, just really maybe give it a little more time. If it's so soon, it's only been one date, like we were saying, they liked each other enough to have kissed. So maybe it is something there. Don't try to run away so soon. Explore it. But if after some time, trust your instinct. If it feels off, then it probably is, because it shouldn't feel off in a good relationship. Usually every moment of it is like, this is the person, and you'll feel wanting to be with them, and just wanting to naturally progress the relationship. So also don't be afraid to walk away if you're not comfortable in the relationship, because you do want to have that joyous experience from beginning to the end.
Yeah, but also to set boundaries. So let the person know what you are and are not comfortable with. This could include things like how much time you spend together, how often you communicate, and what kind of physical contact you're okay with.
Yeah. like this guy with the whole aspect of she's calling all the time and calling him nicknames or whatever so soon, that really has to be communicated and talked about. Let her know, if you don't like her hitting you up all the time, this is where that assertive communication starts. And it's really important for, I think, men to be vocal very early, the earlier as possible, and don't think that it's too much, because for the right woman, it's not going to be too much, but it's important to set that boundary, because if not, you're just fooling yourself, like you and her, to be honest.
Well, also too, I think it's important for him to ask why she's so clingy. Like you've mentioned, a lot of people who are clingy have abandonment issues. So it is normal for those people to want to get your attention a lot. And maybe that is something that she needs to communicate, or maybe that's an issue that she doesn't know that she has.
Right.
Other than being desperate. She just needs to be honest. And I think that this man will really thoroughly appreciate her honesty.
Yeah, that's true. And it's important if you need that, if you're trying to even figure it out, because then too, it opens up the door for, what things you do, what kind of communication you do like, and what kind of communication she likes. So maybe you can see right off back if your needs meet or not, because that's an early indication of whether or not the relationship's going to work. Because if she is, coming from trauma and having those experiences, and maybe she does need someone who's more, open to giving her that emotional attachment that she needs, and that just might not be you, it's okay to, for that to be the case. But it's important for you to figure this out before y'all get into deep and y'all start having sex and all that other stuff, then it just complicates things too much. And I see people just let things go on and on just because, they like maybe the conversation or, whatever it is.
Or the physical attraction.
The physical attraction. Yeah. Something, whatever it is. But you really just got to be able to communicate your needs and do that early. So then that way, what you need from them, they know what they
boundaries
they need from you. Yeah. And you can have support, understanding, and respect early in the relationship.
And then take things slowly. So don't rush into anything. Get to know the person over time and see if they are someone you can trust and build a relationship with.
Yeah. And that's the only way you can really know if it's love bombing right away. If it's the extreme love bombing, you'll know, but if it's not, if it's more subtle, then it's going to take time anyway to figure it out. And then you'll also know if it's genuine attraction though, too. Yeah.
Also, to seek support. So talk to a trusted friend or family member about your concerns. So you can also seek professional help from a therapist or counselor or consultants.
Yeah, like us.
Yep.
Yeah, we provide consulting too. We're not a licensed therapist, but we do have a lot of good experience, and we're very solution oriented. So we'll be able to help you strategize and come up to really see the kind of bigger picture of everything and what's going on and what you could really be dealing with. Because it can be a little sticky situation, but for this guy and for anybody else like going through this, when you meeting a person, like you just got to weigh in all of this and whether or not it's something you want to consider to continue to pursue, or something you just want to not get involved in. If it's too much, that's okay too. But if it's not and you want to explore it a little more, go ahead. Don't be, too fearful and not want to take the chance, because you never know. You never know.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's too early for him to find out. She didn't shower him with gifts. She's just giving him conversation. That's it. He just got to get back on that horse again and date. So
yeah. And it could be how one of the love language things I think is something with like words of affirmation or something like that. So maybe that's her thing too. It's this question is so multifaceted. Yeah, but now at least we have gone through it. So hopefully everybody has a good understanding on what love bombing is, what it's not, what genuine attraction looks like, and hopefully you're able to meet someone who is genuinely attracted to you and not actually trying to deceive you. Yeah. I don't like that. That's not right.
No. Any questions, concerns, comments?
Nope.
Tonight? Nope. Nothing.
Thank you all. Let me check on it. And thank you all for joining us. We got a full house on Instagram. What's up, y'all? And Facebook and YouTube. And in and out all night. So that's a great thing. On a Monday night, you guys hanging on in with us.
Yeah. So with that being said, thank you all for joining us tonight. Blueprint family, you all have a wonderful night. See you all tomorrow. Peace.